Hello and welcome to the PhazeCast, episode 4. Happy Thanksgiving! Early Thanksgiving. Today, to give thanks, we will be talking about the sequel trilogy of Star Wars, ranking it on a scale of 1 to 5, and ranking each individual movie.
The sequel trilogy is what we're going to give thanks for?
We're going to give thanks for the sequel movies, yes.
Okay. Goodbye, everybody.
But first, the Multiversus game, Joe.
Oh, yeah, Multiversus.
It's real. There were pretty significant leaks. I figured it was real. But it's really real.
Yeah, it's really real.
How do you feel about that?
They're really embracing the meme aspect of it. I don't know if you've seen the images of Shaggy's alternate clothing. His costumes. Hey, no. I am all for Shaggy Ultimate Power. Why are you hating on that?
No, I'm for it.
I'm for it. Like, yowzers, Scoob, my power's unlimited.
Wait.
I want that.
That was good.
I want that. Thank you. I want a game where Arya Stark can fight against Shaggy, Batman, and Steven Universe. Boom.
Oh, fitting.
I love Steven Universe.
The memes are fine. It's a necessary thing to draw people in.
What they did do, so what aspect of Multiverse you want to talk about? Because I got a lot of things I can talk about.
Well, so I'll tell you, I'm excited. I'm excited that they really seem to learn from the fact that Nicktoons game was so poorly received.
Oh, you mean
the
worst Smash Brothers clone I've ever seen in my life?
Yeah. And I'll tell you, I have not played that game, but I've viewed a lot of footage of it in preparation for whether or not I was going to purchase that game.
You're going to end up buying it.
Somewhere down the line, maybe when it's like $10, but it's a ridiculous...
When it's a $10 game in a bin at Walmart, yes.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous price tag for what it is, and I just can't get on board with what they're asking for that. But so it looked like they learned, and the thing about that kills me too is that it's completely silent. I hate that game is completely silent.
See, no music. You can't have you know what ruins stuff? No music. Episode 1.
Yeah, anyway. I don't even think there's music playing in the background of the matches in that game, is there?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there is. They have voice acting a little bit.
No, like I think a tiny bit. That's the big thing that turned me off, and that's what they mentioned. And not that that's like a game breaking thing, but it seemed like it's a point they made that made it seem like they cared about it because they got the guy who plays Batman,
Kevin Conroy.
Yeah, they got Kevin Conroy to do it.
They do have a list of voice actors from prior series in the Multiverse is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
That they're bringing in. They got the voice actor for Steven, for Finn, for Jake.
Yeah.
Although I feel kind of weird that they got the voice actor for Batman as Kevin Conroy, but they didn't do the same for Wonder Woman and Superman. But that's whatever. They had to spend money on Arya Stark. Which I don't know if you've seen, but prior screen caps of the game's character selection screen had Gandalf. So,
yeah, I saw that. And I heard rumors that Harry Potter might be in it, but the licensing might be too difficult to do that.
I'm so confused by the licensing of it. It feels weird to have a game like that, though, and also introduce your own character, because that's what they did with one of the characters.
There's a...
Yeah. Don't you know our great and favorite lovable character, Rain Dog?
What? I didn't see
like
that.
Like a reindeer, but he's a rain dog, but he doesn't look like a dog. He looks like a green fuzzy dragon. And he's from his own
see that. I did see that.
And I was like, what the hell is this? We have all these properties. I wanted to see more Tom and Jerry and Hanna-Barbera, but we can make a character, I guess.
I feel like that's just going to be... Because my big concern with that game is that it's free to play. Which could be good, because that's the problem with the Nicktoons game, is the price tag for, like, entry is too high.
Well, entry aside, I think that they're just putting a more thought into the game.
Yeah, I agree.
They're trying to do it. From what I've seen of gameplay and other stuff, they really want to push like a 2v2 like aspect of the game.
Yeah.
And they're doing a lot of like support abilities that will affect your partner, which I kind of like. Steven Universe, for example, has like a bubble shield that he puts on himself and his partner during the fight from footage I've seen. And that's just neat for me. Like, I want to see, like, weird combo moves. I want to see if they can actually make a 2v2 platform fighter function in a way that they can interact with each other well. Because God knows Smash couldn't do it. Whenever you put, like, friendly fire or allied collision on in Smash, it's just a fuckfest.
Yeah, that's a good point. So they could even improve on that if they really put their friggin' minds to it.
I think that's what their focus is.
And
it
that's,
seems there's care put in the game because they stick to a specific art style for all the characters too, which I like.
Wouldn't that be insane if they didn't? If there was like a hyper realistic Arya Stark that was like stabbing Bugs Bunny.
Oh God. I mean, Smash did it, and sometimes the hyper-realistic... not hyper-realistic, but, like, seeing Kirby next to Gandalf... not Gandalf, Ganondorf is still fucking weird to this day.
Yeah, but that's part of the magic of Smash, I feel like. They handled that well.
They're definitely capitalizing on it in this game. I'm looking forward to it. I love fighters. I love every type of fighter out there. Speaking of another fighter coming out, I don't know if this is real, because I just saw some gameplay footage on TikTok. But Riot, with their infamous, Arcane series, not infamous, I don't know why I said infamous, with their new Arcane series coming out that's really good, looks like they're also doing a Marvel vs. Capcom style fighter with their Riot characters.
I don't know those characters at all.
Yeah, so it's their League of Legends characters.
Okay.
That's what they have. I mean, I guess they also have Valorant, but I don't think they'd bring those characters in for a fighter game. But it looked, from the few stills that I saw, like little gameplay, it looked neat. I don't know if it's real or if it's just something someone made and I saw on TikTok. But
maybe it's fan made. I don't know.
Who knows? Either way, I'd play a fan made. I'd love fighting games. I love them. Street Fighter is my jam.
I like fighting games, but I'm bad at them.
It's okay. As long as you are enjoying the game, that's fine.
Yeah, that's true, because I played that crap out of Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and I never got any better at it.
You do have to, if you want to get good at a fighting game, you have to kind of look up combos and stuff and how to execute those.
And it's not even for me the looking up of the combos, it's the remembering of the combos.
Gotcha.
But circling back for a second to Multiversus, that you mentioned the moves. That's something that I'm pretty excited about. Is when they started showing footage of that Nicktoons game, it became really clear really quickly that all of the moves were just clones of Super Smash Brothers moves.
Yeah,
and that was not at all interesting to me.
I literally just called it a clone when it was showing up. It's just a clone, not even a platform fighter.
It's a really bad clone because you can string together the moves in stupid ways that, break the game basically. Anyway, this Multiversus game, it seems like they actually put some effort into creating unique moves. Like I pointed out, I saw in the announcement trailer that even when Jake the dog does his recovery jump, it seems like it's his recovery jump, he stretches out and that blocks the other players, which is just it seems like there are a lot of opportunities for kind of unique strategy.
But it definitely, that's what I like too. Because now that you mention him stretching up to reach for like that, if he blocks stuff, if he's a body blocker, could your ally run on top of the back of the dog? Oh, recovery there, stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's see how excited you got just from the idea of that. Weird, stupid shit could be the potential for 2v2 cooperative combat is there. It's just gonna be hard to execute.
Yeah, and if they're able to execute it, though, I think there aren't a lot of games right now that force players to interact cooperatively in a meaningful way. So that would be neat.
Even current cooperative games aren't really that cooperative. Yes, there's a benefit to being cooperative, but a lot of co-op games that I've played in recent times have just been shoot better and just deal with it, and when your partner dies, you clear everything and then pick them up after. It's
like parallel play. You know how when toddlers or when a kid's 2 and you sit them next to another kid that's 2, they just sort of play next to each other, and that's enjoyable for them. That's what it is. It's like your toddler's oh, we're both in the same space.
Left 4 Dead, that whole game series, is a perfect example of a cooperative game that did not have did not need to be cooperative.
Well, but at least in that, but you're right. That whole game is like you pick up the person from what they were doing. But I think at least that game you have to sort of, if you're trying to win, you have to move as a team at least.
No. So here's the thing. Here's the thing about Left 4 Dead, because I played the shit out of that game.
Me too.
The shit out of it.
Me too.
And 3 other guys, we had this mentality where we got the best way to get through that game is to be fast. So you would speed right to the next objective or to the end point at all times.
That is a
if
technique.
somebody falls and dies, well, the horde is beating them up on the ground, so move faster.
That's fucked up. You were
Because
playing
the
that game
game,
wrong.
because the game doesn't punish you. The game does not punish you for that unless you're trying for achievements. But like, the whole point of the game is to get to the safe house. And even if one of you gets to the safe house, you respawn, except for the last bit, which is the finale. And even if you don't survive the finale, your friends do, and the campaign is finished. So like, you don't.
So that's fair. That game doesn't have like
That
anything
is
specific.
Yeah.
That forces the cooperative play.
Even the versus play, when it's like you get to be zombies and you can be survivors and switch. Yeah, the zombies still, like... The zombies will, like, work together to get multiple people down so they don't get hit. But it's not necessary. And a lot of times, if the zombies are correctly, like, the special infected are correctly bullying the survivors, and they're taking their time to res people up and heal and just move as a unit, their slowness will get them killed. Because, once again... The whole point of that game is to just get farther.
Yeah,
so you get more points for getting farther into the level.
Yeah.
If you get bogged down, you lose. If you actually lose one person, but 3 of you make it, it's better than like having 4 people make it halfway or to like the 75% mark.
So yeah, okay, fine. But I guess that Left 4 Dead is a good example of a game that is cooperative, and they sort of leave it open to the player to decide the mechanics of it to some degree. You know, it's a game that did that really poorly is Fallout 76. They left it too open to people and it sucked. You know, it's a game...
Never played that game.
Don't play it.
I
knew
knew that
bad.
was going to be a shit show when I saw it.
It's so bad. You know, it's a game, though, that simulates cooperative play, even though it is one player and does it very well. Star Wars Republic Commando.
But that simulates it. That's not actual cooperative play.
I just like talking about Star Wars Republic Commando.
Why do you gotta whisper Star Wars Republic Commando?
It just feels important.
Feels important, dude. We already got the commandos in like some episodes.
The Commandos.
The Commandos, yes.
Although,
rest in peace, Sev.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Sev, he's one of the Commandos. We leave him. We leave our brother.
Oh,
to
yeah.
Die.
Oh, that's
How
right.
How dare you?
Look at me.
You don't get to talk about Star Wars Republic Commandos if you don't understand.
Look at me, the fool. I don't remember their names. There's Sev and Tapper and Jake and Cloner and Vicky.
No, none of those, actually.
Yeah, I think Sev's one of them.
Sev is one of them. Sev's the one we... Hey, Eric, do you want to talk about the new trilogy of Star Wars?
Yeah, alright, it's Thanksgiving, come on.
Yeah, it's Thanksgiving, that's why we do it. Alright.
Start us off, Joe.
Start us off. Let's talk about, The Force Awakens, Episode 7. God, this movie. When it was announced in the trailers for it, and when I first watched it, I was on that hype train hard. I'm not going to lie to you. Second rewatch was definitely like, okay, I get it. This is kind of a safe bet that they're doing, with just enough nuances and like introduction of new characters to keep me interested. I love the dynamic of Finn and Poe, and then later on Finn and Rey. Wish Poe and Rey had some screen time together in the movie, but we knew that would come later on. Seeing Han doing Han things was just great. Like, a lot of people give that scene where he's smuggling an alien on the Millennium Falcon, just like, what is this? This is just a weird, like, comedy camp. And I'm like, what's Star Wars? Star Wars is comedy camp. And I love the fact that it's just, I'm an old man and I'm still trying to smuggle and swindle my way out of shit. I learned lessons? Probably. Am I still gonna do things like myself? Absolutely. We get introduced to Kylo Ren, who I think is actually like one of the better characters in Star Wars, and a lot of people don't think that.
I think that there's a good camp of people who appreciate Kylo Ren. There's a good
camp of people who want to bone Kylo Ren. I know that exists.
That's a way of appreciating someone.
The widest of boys. And then we get to, like, basically, like, we have to have a cataclysmic event happen with Starkiller Base, and it's just harder. It's like a New Hope set on New Game Plus. with slightly different characters. And overall, my thoughts on that movie, and I legitimately think it deserves this, even though it's just a repeat. All the movies are repeats. Like, I give that a movie a solid 4. Like, a solid 4. Because I felt the hype. I felt all that. I enjoyed the 3 new protagonists that we were given. Very much so. And I think it has one of the best lightsaber duels in all of Star Wars media. In that
in the trees?
Yes.
That one's good. And you love I mean, I love you don't love. I'll find out if you do. I love the fact that you get to see Finn using a lightsaber like that in this way where he's not quite sure how to use it at first.
Oh, yeah.
And then you get the battle with Rey as well. It's good.
Right. Yeah. Like Finn has had the lightsaber up to this point, right? But we definitely see that Rey has connections to the Force throughout it.
Yeah.
And then the moment, like, that's a good moment where, like, Finn is just trying to do his best to protect his one of 2 only friends in existence, and Rey reciprocates, because it's these, like, Rey and Finn are these 2, like, absolute outcasts, and they bond so. People always are like, oh, well, they just became friends too fast. I'm like, well, when you have a nobody and you find somebody who gives a damn, you cling and you open. Then, like, that's what happens. Like, their friendship and became so powerful so fast just because they were both outcasts, and I like that.
I think Finn is a well developed character in that movie, because you see him go from you see that he has the courage to do what's right when it comes down to the wire, and he sort of builds that courage through the movie. I mean, it starts off with him defecting, which is a huge move for him, but then he starts
off with him, like, having his friend or one of his brothers, like, die and then claw his helmet with blood.
Yeah, and it really affects him. Yeah. But you see him then, kind of wanting to still escape that situation, and his default is to just sort of run from. You see, at first it's more that his default is to run from situations that are difficult, and then that grows into him, taking on Kylo Ren when he needs to, and coming to the rescue of his friends.
I'm with my friends thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He learns the power of friendship, which is a huge theme in Star Wars that I think that, like, J.J. Abrams touched on correctly in that movie.
Huge theme in Star Wars?
I mean, I think so. I think friends are fun.
Friends are great, but I don't think friendship is the power of friendship is what propels Star Wars.
I mean, it's not what propels it, but it is a theme that comes up in Star Wars. I think they handled.
I just don't think it's a big theme.
Oh, okay. Well, I do.
At least in the movies, it doesn't really show up.
Maybe family.
Family is not a theme in Star Wars.
What?
No, a real family is not a theme in Star Wars. The theme of Star Wars is, like, legacy, not family.
I think it's about in some ways it's about creating a family with the people that understand you, and you see that in all 3 trilogies, I think. Anyway,
We're just talk. Let's not dive too deep. Let's just talk about.
We're gonna talk some other day about the theme of family in Star Wars that I will.
That you will fail at. Yeah, it's fine. Okay. So your thoughts. What would you rank A Force Awakens?
So let me tell you what a theme of Star Wars is no, what a theme in my opinion of the Star Wars sequel trilogy is that every one of them, when I first saw it, they're good theme park rides. Basically, you get really invested in them when you're watching them, and then I walked away from each of them going, wait a minute, what was this thing? So in The Force Awakens, the thing for me was that I like that movie a lot, and at some point I realized, I guess it was like when Starkiller Base, they were like, oh, this is the Death Star but bigger. I was like, wait a second, you're selling me the same movie again. This is the same movie.
Yeah.
which is like acceptable. And especially at the time, I was like, I'm so glad that you did not break my heart over this movie that I will take anything. It's like
that. It was a safe bet.
It was a safe bet. It was a safe bet, and it worked adequately. And I would give The Force Awakens a 3.
Okay. My ranking only gets a 4 because the characters their potential and how they were introduced was so well done. Mm-hmm. And God, that Kylo Ren scene where he kills Han Solo is good.
Oh, dude. And you know what?
So good.
That's something that did not feel cheap or wasted at all. No. Like that could have gone so badly, but that's such a good scene, and it develops Kylo Ren's character so nicely.
Oh, so
I mean,
good.
it's an event that from there you really have to do something with that character because
yes. It's so like Finn being an escaped stormtrooper, they could have done a lot more with that later on.
Oh God, I don't know.
The potential he had for it was so good.
Yeah,
his immediate friendship with Poe, as like, hey, we're gonna escape together, we're getting out of here, and like Poe giving him his name, and like, yo, dude, I'm gonna call you Finn. Is that okay? And he's like, I have a name. Yes, that's great. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of cool, quick but very powerful character moments that are just, and that not are only just good for characters, but are good for like, I'm gonna regret saying this, but are good for like drawing in a future audience, because goddamn, do the fanboys are here for lightsaber fights, right? We're here for lightsaber fights and cool Force stuff, and then there's another section that is in it for the weird shipping, and
there's plenty of weird shipping you can do.
Yeah, I remember I was talking to a friend, a coworker, at the time about it, and they were just like, God, I just want to ship Finn and Poe so bad. I'm like, I mean, I guess they interacted, but I feel like shipping in one movie is fast. He's like, but that moment when he sees him wearing his coat. He's like,
I love that.
On you. And I'm just like, okay, I watched it different than you did. Clearly,
no, but he doesn't.
I'm glad you got something out of it.
He isn't just like, oh, it looks good on you. He like puts his hand on his shoulder and he's like, looks good on you. And then he bites his lip a little. He's like,
he doesn't bite his lip. I think I think some people see he bit his lip and also gyrated his body when he said.
And then the bass comes in and it's like,
yeah. I think there's that aspect for sure. That
it works.
That fan base gets it. That's great. I'm glad that they're invested in the characters. That's fine.
I think that's a strong point in J.J. Abrams movies in general, is that he cares a lot about quick and solid character development. I think you see it in Super 8. You see it in the Star Trek remake that he did. I guess maybe you see it in Lost. I don't know. I haven't watched enough Lost to know.
Neither have I.
But at the start, you get interested. I mean, it's engaging. So I think that is a strong point of his that he works off of well there. What he doesn't work off of well, I'll tell you what, because I have a pretty big bone to pick with J.J. Abrams in general. Is that he doesn't know how to finish a story. And he doesn't know how to handle like
Endings are the hardest part.
Yeah, but I just feel like it's silly to me that his answer to creating a threat in that was, oh, we just make a bigger Death Star. And then he comes back in Rise of Skywalker and he's like, well, this time, though, all of the Star Destroyers basically have Death Stars. It has to always...
Escalation is the problem of Star Wars.
Escalation...
And everything.
Escalation is the problem, and escalation is the problem... from what I understand of Lost, you sort of get into this trap of like, okay, we need to, now they found the thing, so now we need to like have this secret evil room, and they go back to the other, they have to go back to the island and all this stuff, and it because he didn't plan it, you can't go anywhere but like bigger, and that's sort of
what I've said about the prequel trilogy, right? But I will say that Episode 3, that their escalating scene, their final conflict, wasn't. It was just a culmination.
Yes. Yes.
And that is good.
Yes. The final act does not have to be that there are more guns. It has to have emotional impact.
I will make several giant spaceships, and they will rise from Mexico.
You thought that 2 Death Stars wasn't enough. I've got 18 little ships this time. Combined, they're bigger than Starkiller Base.
I feel like he had to do that weird... And here's the thing. He had to do that, just not had to, but it was a choice to make it, because like the First Order wasn't like a big like monster thing. It was like a rebellion on the outposts, right? Remnants of the old Empire. Mm-hmm. In order to make them a viable threat for the rest of the galaxy, they had to do something big. So he's like, oh, well, we're just going to have them kill, like, a whole system, which had a lot of government stuff.
Yeah, I get how you end up there, or how you could end up there. Not necessarily that's how they did.
It doesn't make it a
it's
good
not
choice.
good, and it's not where it needed to end up, especially after The Last Jedi, because The Last Jedi focuses so much on smaller scale problems.
Oh, where are we talking? The Last Jedi is the next movie.
No. I'm just saying. Oh, that's right. No, because he does it twice. That's the problem. He does it 2 times.
The 2 movies he's in control of in that trilogy, he just.
I thought you meant at the end of the whole trilogy. Okay, at the end of Force Awakens, which is the movie that we're still rating. Sorry, I got sidetracked. At the end of Force Awakens, it doesn't need to get there either. There's a whole conflict going on between Kylo Ren and his father, and Rey and Kylo Ren, and Finn in the First Order, there's just no reason. There's just no reason for that large of a threat in that movie, especially when you did it already. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's why it gets a 3. It's a really solid movie. I enjoy it every time that I watch it, but every time that I watch it, I walk away from being like, I could have just watched A New Hope, I think. And it's basically the same story beats. So it seems a little lazy. But it was safe, and I understand why they did it, so I'm not mad about it.
Let's talk about one of the most controversial... Well, what was one of the most controversial Star Wars movie next? Last Jedi. Baby.
All right, I'm going to start this one off. I love that movie. Uh-huh. I watched it the other day in preparation for this podcast, and
this PhazeCast, you would say?
This PhazeCast, this very one, the Thanksgiving special, and I love that movie. It's so good, and it's so heartbreaking to watch because I know what happens in Rise of Skywalker. Different story. I think that there are a few small things that I disagree with. It doesn't even come down to... I think the main part of Luke being whiny that I have an issue with is how they then saw it through in Rise of Skywalker. But because I think that's probably one of my bigger complaints with that movie. Overall, though, it's on par with Empire Strikes Back as far as the quality of that film. It's beautifully shot. The color choices are so specific and good. The character development is great. The themes of failure and how to accept that, that theme runs through that whole movie. It's handled so nicely. You get great new characters introduced that they do nothing with, because Listen. What are your initial thoughts on this movie? Because I could go on.
Initial thoughts. Well, did you give it a rank? What's your number on?
Oh, I would give it. I would give it a 4. It's like because I can't give it a perfect score because it's not a perfect movie, but it's an excellent movie.
It gets a 5 from me on the Joe scale.
Oh!
Not my real ranking. So, like, 5 is because it's my favorite Star Wars movie. It's legitimately my favorite Star Wars movie.
What?
But it is legitimately ranked a 4. Like,
what? You can't...
I would give it a 5 personally, but if I'm going based off of actual films, it gets a 4. And the reason why it gets a 4, for me, is because it's... People always complain like, oh, they just tried to subvert it to be subvertive, but like that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Wars, considering
it needed that. It needed that.
Here's how all the Star Wars. Here's how the new trilogy was made. Right, we're gonna make A New Hope 2.0. Here it is. Do you like it? Do you like it? Like, oh yeah, I like it. I liked it the first time I had it. I just want you guys to do something different. Okay. This is something brand new and different. I hate this. Why did you do this? Give me something the same. Okay, well, here's Palpatine again. Why would you do this?
So it's almost like you should just make the movie that you want to make and not...
Make movies with a plan. Don't listen to the fucking audience members because the minute you listen to a fan... Like, the only fan base you need to really listen to when it comes to creating content is when you're a streamer, a YouTuber, or a wrestler. If you decide, well, I'm going to build a world like this, but Patty thinks that Harry Potter should get with these 3 girls and that Ron should die, so we should probably do what Patty wants. It's not going to end well.
Yeah, if you're writing
good.
Fiction, I think that's what it comes down to. If you're like, putting together a fictional tale, probably not a good idea. You should probably just
don't listen to everybody.
Yeah.
Don't listen to everybody. Like literally, like. Don't listen to everybody. Like, hear everybody.
Wait, but why does it get a 4 from you?
It gets a 4 for me because it tried to do so many different things. And it was just so many good seeds. So we see my favorite version of Luke Skywalker. I'm serious. Like, it's the culmination of his story. He is now the bitter, crazy old man who exiled himself, but then learns he needs to teach again and go back into it. And we see that scene with him and Yoda where he's like, you gave me one final lesson. I thank you. Like, that's great. That's good. Drinking that milk straight from the teat. This man. We see Rey coming to terms with, like, this is supposed to be the hero of the galaxy, but he's a person. And I'm trying to figure out everything. And then we learn how empathic she is. Because she learns Luke's side of the story. She learns Kylo's side of the story. Mm-hmm. She learns that the answer isn't going to come from an outside source. She has her own cave moment where the cave is just her alone with herself constantly.
Yeah, that's great scene.
So good. And then we get that scene after she's done nothing but connect with Kylo Ren, with Ben, the entire movie, in weird Force messages, which is such a cool way to have... Like, only Star Wars can do that, where, like, you can have, like, the villain and the hero have these weird communications throughout the whole movie.
It's cool.
Where Ben's like, dude, your parents were just alcoholics and drunks. Like, you're not special, but I care about you, and that's special. Like, what you do is what's special, not what you are. That is a theme in that movie that should have pervaded throughout all of the rest of it. You get that scene at the end of the movie where that slave kid, like, using the Force to pick up the broom because it can be anybody. You just have to act on it and do it. And I love the idea of literally...
That's great.
Because, like, the Force is literally, it surrounds us, binds us, and connects us. How come only special people can use it?
And see, so that's, in general, The Last Jedi touches on so many, like, smaller scale things, like that kid using the Force and the, like, class issues going on that planet.
The class issues was... Whatever. We've had class issues before, and that's such a weird thing. Don't misquote me.
The war thing going on. It just was cool to see.
Yes.
That's what I like about like Rogue One is you see like on the ground what a threat stormtroopers are to these people who are just anyway.
I want to see more of because they introduced that one dude. I forget the name of the character. DJ. Yeah, they introduced DJ, right? And he's just the dude be like, "Yo, dude, I know like." And I remember talking with our mutual friend about this, and he's like, "We don't need a character to say this." I'm like, "Yeah, we do, because it's Star Wars. Star Wars is about light side, dark side. You actually do need a character in there to be like, uh-oh, everybody's a douchebag."
Yeah.
Uh-oh,
oh, it was great.
It's all about money.
That was great.
Oh, yeah, the rebels are buying this, but they're also selling it to the Empire because money.
Mm-hmm.
Duh. The one thing that falls flat on me is I don't hate Rose as a character. I feel like the Rose character gets shit on a lot.
Yeah.
And they made her kind of overly important to the story when I really wanted more of the other characters. And honestly, I really just wanted more of Finn doing Finn stuff. Is when they get to the casino planet, right? And she's like, "Look at this. Look at how there's class issues and how fucked up the galaxy is." Rose, you do realize Finn was a stormtrooper, right? Like, he was kidnapped as a child and then forced to become a soldier for, like he doesn't need you to tell him the galaxy is fucked up. And at this point, it was him literally escaping the Empire, meeting two friends that he's grown very attached to in that short amount of time, passing out for a whole, like, he finally wakes up on a ship, and he's like, "Where's Rey?" And like, "Well, Rey's somewhere," and then we're doing something, and he's like, "I gotta go find Rey. What the fuck?" Like, her and Poe are the only two people I care about right now. I need to go do that, and he's just doing the thing where he's like, "I'm gonna escape and do other stuff." And yeah, him learning how to just be like part of the bigger rebellion, or is good.
Yeah,
but I think he didn't need like. I think that could have been delivered by Poe, like,
right,
you know.
But yeah, but so then the function of Poe staying behind though is that Poe gets humbled by Holdo and Leia.
God, can we talk about how Poe was weirdly dumb throughout this whole movie?
I don't know.
Dumb?
I don't know.
No, you're part of a military structure, and we know that he's been a part of this military structure for a while. It's not new to him.
But he's a flyboy. They say it a lot. They say flyboy a lot.
Yeah, they do. But like,
dude, I mean, I get
just saying. In the first movie, he seemed competent and trusted the military structure. And later on, we learned that he's always been part of a weird secret ops military structure.
He's just anxious. He's like having a panic attack the whole movie.
He literally was like, "You need to tell me. Tell me we're doing things. If not, I'm going to be the one to do stuff." No. Dude, last time you did stuff, you got how many people killed? What are you talking about?
Well, but that's what the movie's overarching theme is that, you know what, sometimes you're not the hero. Sometimes it's a team effort. Sometimes it doesn't work out the way that you think it's gonna.
I think that was just like to be a teaching moment for him so he could become the leader later on, which is fine. But it was just kind of handled weirdly. And because he seemed like they just gave him too much freedom after he disobeyed orders and got a bunch of people killed. And then, like, he just kind of gets to run rampant everywhere. And I'm like, man, I don't... Like, I know we're pushing for him to eventually be, like, the
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
It doesn't seem like he deserves that spot.
Is that in that situation, wouldn't Poe realize the consequences of his actions without having to yell at Admiral Holdo for an hour? Yeah, maybe, but wouldn't Luke like have a plan when he goes to a planet like that? And
no, because he's never had a plan.
Because
I'm talking about an experience he had as a prior character that was shown, whereas Luke is shown to always just leave.
But so maybe, but I think that the interactions that he has with Holdo are still solid, and they've got some sexual tension, man. There's something going on between...
I don't think you understand sexual tension.
I'll ship Holdo and Poe right now. And also, on a side note, Laura Dern just keeps looking better and better, man. She looks good in that movie. She looks better than she did in Jurassic Park. What's up with that? She's hot. Anyway,
we got off the rails here.
Well, I want to circle back though on what you mentioned about Rey and what she gains from her interactions with Luke on whatever that island planet is. I can never remember the name of it. Because this time when I watched The Last Jedi, I tried to kind of watch it through your lens, what you have told me about how you feel about that whole thing. And I think that the takeaway from doing that was that I understand why they made those decisions with Luke because of where it puts Rey, because she ends up being humbled, I guess, like everyone else is in that movie, by realizing.
I don't think Rey ever needed to be humbled.
Because she goes there expecting.
Well, no, I don't think that's a humbling experience. I think what she is it's a realization of like, oh, it's not. He's a person.
Yeah, I guess it's not like her. Glorified. It's not her ego that's humbled.
The whole point of
her expectations are curbed about what Luke is and what the Force is, and she learns a lot about how to handle that stuff. Specifically from the fact that Luke is being a little bit difficult about it. So, and I also understand why they would make that point that Luke had to go there and cut off his connection to the Force, because otherwise people would be complaining about the fact that Leia could have found him easily. So the only way to make sure that nobody could find him, really, and that's J.J. Abrams' fault, because he doesn't like, I'm sure that he didn't even consider the fact that Leia could find him if he wasn't, like, doing something pretty negative. So I get
that's not how the Force works quote.
Somebody needs to explain to J.J. Abrams how the frickin' Force works.
What a loser.
But I think that then makes sense, because it's like that had to be what it was to make it impossible to find him. Otherwise, you have all these Force users who could.
The theme that I loved about this movie was the unveiling of past glory. It was like, oh yeah, we built up these stories and these legends, but look underneath, dude. It's just a bunch of people trying to make money and do their stuff. Look underneath. Luke Skywalker is a human being. And just doing things because the past and legacy tells us to do things like that is not a good reason. Let the past die. Kill it if you
I love that throne room scene.
That's so good.
That's such a good scene.
Second favorite, like, also a really good favorite lightsaber scene is just that fucking, like, double battle, and then there's that part where Rey throws the lightsaber and Ben catches it and just ignites it in the motherfucker's face.
Oh yeah!
Like, how cool! How fucking rad!
He uses the lightsaber as a gun, kind of.
Yeah, he's just like pew, pew, pew. It's a laser sword, bitch.
We both make the noise, and then he's like pew pew pew, and he's like. But that's what makes that.
Even like Snoke being like, yes, I am the one in control, and you know this, and he's going to do this, and he's going to ignite the. Oh fuck! I got bisected immediately. Oh,
and then he pulls the lightsaber towards him, it slices him. Oh, it's so cool.
So good.
It's so cool.
Snoke had some drip, by the way. Like Snoke is a stupid character, but that motherfucker with the golden robe.
Oh, the gold.
Like, what up? And I'm like, this guy's got some drip. What the hell?
That was a smart, like, because I saw that, I was like, I need like an action figure of this this spindly Andy Serkis.
I want the throne.
In a golden robe. But you know what I noticed? This is just sort of a thing about that scene that I noticed is that I have a tendency in general to kind of glaze over a lot of action scenes. They don't really interest me a lot of times. But that throne room scene catches my attention, and I remember it so clearly every time. And I think, well, of course, the color is a big aspect of it. It's such a good use of color.
It's so well shot.
Yeah. But and that's the thing. The way that they shot it, I noticed this time, is that they follow the action of the lightsabers for most of the shots, which I think sort of makes you feel more engaged with the action of the scene, that you're like you're moving with the motion of the scene, and man, is it good! It's so good. I love that. It's one of my top. It's definitely probably my favorite lightsaber battle, and one of the best action scenes of all time.
I can't. So we had that salt planet, right?
Oh,
salt
Crate's
planet's
cool.
Super cool. With like they're moving it, and you just see like the red underneath. It's such a cool thing. And then we get Luke versus Ben.
That's good too.
Kylo, and it's just Luke dunking on him and being Luke like he's assuming his role. He's like, okay, no, I have to be this again. This is for the good. This is for the future, and it's. God, I could watch Adam Driver yell at things constantly. More!
He goes, blow that ship out of the sky!
he prepares for it. Like, he's like, blow that ship? He knows what lines he's gonna yell before he does. It's so good.
You ever get the sense that Adam Driver's got some like deep-seated anger issues that he like channels into his performances, and that's why he doesn't like beat people in his personal life?
I mean, angry white boy is a trope, and angry skinny white boy is a more known trope.
What about angry skinny wide boy?
He's the widest of boys. Put a shirt on, or is this a sexual tension scene?
Oh yeah, I love it.
It is. This is a sexual tension scene. How many naked people has Rey seen? Probably not a lot. This better not awaken something in me.
I didn't even think about that.
No, yeah.
I guess Star Wars is structured to not make you wonder whether people are virgins or not, but they probably all are.
Not even the virgin thing. It's just her being like a literal like slave to a society where she has to scavenge for food by herself since she was a child.
So she's a virgin?
I don't.
Probably Poe is. No, I don't know. Poe fucks.
Listen,
it doesn't matter.
Poe fucks. Poe had a girlfriend. We met.
That's right, Zori.
Yeah, Zori in the next movie.
So the scene in Crate 2 is something that I wanted to touch on in the context of The Last Jedi, and then we'll move on to Rise of Skywalker.
Okay.
But Last Jedi handles the story beats of the prior trilogy better than The Force Awakens does, because J.J. Abrams has big old hams for hands, and it's like the same exact yeah, exactly. Look at the lens flare and the pretty lights that I do, and it's like, okay, fine, that works. But The Last Jedi has some story beats of Empire Strikes Back in it. It's got the training, it's got Yoda, it's got the AT-AT equivalents and them walking toward a thing, but they do it in a way where it's not so in your face that it's the first thing that you think about when you see these things. It's better integrated into the story, and also I guess even the fact that it happens in a different order than it does in Empire Strikes Back makes a big difference.
Yes.
So it's just a much better written movie than Force Awakens, I think, and the character interactions are great. The story is great. The cinematography is amazing. Mm-hmm. Everything about that movie is cool.
People complain a lot about the Holdo maneuver. They say it breaks ship combat.
Dude, that's such a visually beautiful scene.
Yeah, it's such a visual scene. And like I actually talked about this with a friend last night. He's like, it ruins ship combat for everybody, forever in the future, and we just have to forget about it. I'm like,
it's not like people are just going to be doing that.
Yeah. People, like, what are you talking about? Like, why don't people just build ships and launch them into each other? Because that's expensive.
Yeah, that's not
and then you
at all.
Don't have a ship.
That's
a terrible. That's not how that works.
That was a massive sacrifice that she made.
Yeah, the rebels already told you how they don't have ships and fuel, and they had to give up one as it was like it didn't have any fuel left, and they evacuated the people on it, and they just. It was like, that's a good and powerful thing. Yeah. I don't understand why people give it so much hate. They're like, why don't people do that all the time? Bitch, why don't people use kamikazes all the time?
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't really... You're not thinking about the grander implications.
Yeah.
I had another friend who's like, why'd they introduce fuel into Star Wars? And I'm like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck... Like, what are you?
What did they think it was going off of
all
the time?
That's how... What are you... you stop ignoring things because you don't get a cool space battle. They just didn't like that they were like being chased constantly. It's a chase scene.
It was tense. I thought that created a lot of great tension.
But Poe created a lot of good tension.
Yeah, I guess
self-imposed tension because he believed he was right.
So you ready to move on to Rise of Skywalker? Here we're running long. We got to wrap this thing up. Right, come on, baby.
Rise of Skywalker gets a 1. It's the worst Star Wars movie I've ever seen in my goddamn life. Okay, here's the thing. Rise of Skywalker gets a 2. It gets a higher ranking than Phantom Menace. And here's why. Because even though the story and the major plot point in it is stupid and is introduced in the crawl, the dead speak. Somehow, Emperor Palpatine has returned. Like, you should have built that up throughout the movie if you're going to do that. Like, throughout the trilogy. But either way, that is the stupidest part. I'm like, this is terrible, this is awful. But let me ignore it now, because this is here. They threw it at my face immediately. So you have a whole movie now to either explain it or just make it seem worth it and make me care. And that's what you had. And they fall short. But there's a lot of good moments.
Can I just say real quick, even worse, I think, than the somehow Palpatine has returned line is right after that. Bring up right after that, Rose says, "Do we believe this?" Which just sort of is indicative of the entire, like, it sort of feels like they anticipated that I was going to think that was stupid, and then we're trying to deal with it in real time, which is just the strangest thing I've ever seen on a movie. Anyway, continue.
And then I have to look for the fun parts throughout the movie, right? Like, there's some camp dialogue that's like a lot of that's like it becomes a weird quest movie where they like, we found the MacGuffin. Now the MacGuffin will lead us to this so that we can do this. It became a quest movie, and I'm like, if we're gonna do a quest movie, I'm just gonna enjoy the ride. Then fuck it. Let's see where we go. We get our 3 characters hanging out together again. Good. We bring Chewbacca. We bring C-3PO. We bring. Okay, this is the crew now. Do they fly now? Yeah, they fly now. Cool little desert chase fighting scene. Then Kylo Ren shows up again with his repaired helmet, and the Knights of Ren just pose a lot throughout the movie. Rey uses lightning, and that's cool. And apparently, lightning is a indicative Force trait of a family member, not just Force, like just dark side shit. I'm trying real hard. This is why it's a 2. I'm trying to find the fun.
You know what I would say, and I would agree with you that it is a 2.
I would love to finish my...
Oh, I just wanted to give you another... Yes, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. I just need to finish my...
No, go ahead.
I will lose my thought process. I need to get all this stupid vomit out of this terrible movie. We get Finn and Poe being bros is the best thing throughout that entire time. Mm-hmm. Like, we be a commander? I am also a commander. Like this, Finn and Poe acting like this makes me think that this is how Lando and Han acted when they were just chilling out. Yeah, like being weirdos. Good friends. Lando showing up was a scene. He was there. I'm Lando Calrissian. Goodbye. Cool. See you later, Lando. Thanks for helping us out. We get to see cool different worlds, which I like. The world building is cool. We get to see like a weird alien festival about colors and dust.
That's a good scene.
C-3PO has to have his memory wiped again because of course he does. He gets that sweet... He gets a tagline for a trailer where he's like, I'm looking at my friends, and like, yeah, but also like, oh, that does feel... we have Ben and Rey talking throughout the whole movie, and eventually, like, Rey beats Ben in a lightsaber fight in a really cool, like, area. Like, the sets were really cool. Like, visually, good movie.
Yeah.
But all the things that happened, like, we found a group of stormtroopers who also defected, and they ride horses. Oh, God, sorry. And the only reason we found this place because of an ancient Sith dagger that when we move the little thing, shows us where the Death Star is. No, it just shows us what it looked like when it was destroyed. So it's predetermined in destiny now. Not okay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that maybe tracks. I don't know. But the stormtroopers being on that planet just seemed like a weak place for for Finn's character to end up. Just to have him show up and be like, and she's like, "Oh, I was a stormtrooper too." He's like, "Neat, me too." And there's no actual interaction between the two of them that makes that significant beyond the fact that they state it, and that seems like a huge waste. When he could have rallied those people.
What did Finn want to tell Rey? Did we ever solve that?
That's up to Tumblr to decide, Joe.
It's Finn has the Force. Love that. I love that Finn has the Force. That's great.
Yeah. That's why he did all right with the lightsaber.
God, Finn. I mean, no, anyone can use a lightsaber. It has nothing to do with the Force.
I mean, maybe.
Bitch, pre-Vizsla.
What?
Pre-Vizsla?
What?
Any Mandalorian with the darksaber?
Oh, fine, okay, whatever. But
don't you fucking come at me. Anyway, but no, and then we get to it's this fucking lightsaber. We get Ben Solo's arc throughout that movie really helps me like it. Because his redemption, and then even though he's only Ben Solo for 5 minutes, you can tell the character difference because Adam Driver's good. He does the thing where he's running, he's like, oh look, there he is, he's serious, he's running, he's jumping on a chain, he goes, oh, and I'm like, okay, no, that was a funny bit, here we go. And it's just him surrounded by the Knights of Red, and he finally gets a lightsaber.
I love that, yeah.
And I'm like, okay, you're Leia and Han.
I know.
In two scenes, you made me believe that you're Leia and Han's kid.
He really did his homework. He really did his homework, and it shows. You're right. That's
Rey being a Palpatine is terrible. Palpatine being back is terrible. Rey having the line saying, "I am all the Jedi."
As far as good things go, though, what I was gonna say is that I give it a 2 also, and it's because it's a decent ride. I enjoy it when I watch it, and best use of C-3PO possibly. I love C-3PO in that movie.
He actually did a thing.
And Babu Frick. If not for Babu Frick, that movie would be nothing to me.
Babu Frick is the best version of a random character made for a movie that they've done.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't it Moaning Myrtle, the woman who played Moaning Myrtle, that controlled that little man?
No, man.
Anyway, I think
don't ask me Harry Potter actor trivia. I don't fucking know that.
I think that the good things in it though don't outweigh the bad things. I think you're right. There's so many little things. I am of the opinion that Rise of Skywalker is such a bad Star Wars movie that it retroactively makes all of Star Wars worse by existing. Especially The Last Jedi. I mean, it undoes everything, and it
literally just undoes shit, and I hate that.
It sort of feels like when you're watching that movie, why did I even watch the previous movie if you were just gonna undo it? There's no, and it doesn't take it. So, for example, right, Finn and Rose's adventure on that casino planet, and they learn basically that they didn't actually succeed, and that's, I think, important to their character growth. They do nothing with that.
Finn kills Phasma.
Yeah, he does. That's important. But I mean, as far as I don't
know if it is because Phasma's whatever, but
yeah. That was sort of a quick death too. That was weird. But they don't even acknowledge that there's now I mean, whether it's romantic or not, a relationship between Finn and Rose. That they went through these things, that they've learned anything. You're right, it's a quest
because
movie.
They hated the Rose character and they just killed her off, essentially.
There's another scene where it's such a bizarre watch because Finn goes over to Rose and he's like, hey, would you like to come on this adventure? And she says something about, she's like, oh, well, actually, I have to look up tech on Star Destroyers.
No, I'm needed here. They made a purposeful scene to just have her not do anything.
And it's
what a disgrace to that. That actress deserved better.
I know. I like Rose as a character.
She did a good job.
I don't think that there's anything. It's such a silly. It's like the young Anakin thing. They piled on that poor kid.
Yeah, it's not his fault.
Yeah. Anyway,
it's still terribly written, but it's not his fault.
Yeah, and and it's just so. There's moments like that where that movie is clearly written for, like, the fans, but not in the correct. It just is so weird.
It listened too much to the people, and sometimes like in the wrong ways. In the wrong ways. You don't. It's not a collaborative. A story should not be a collaborative effort from the audience.
Yeah, agreed.
That's what improv is. And improv is never meant to be taken seriously or make you feel and have emotions other than, haha, this is a stupid thing we're doing.
Feel and have emotions, and so this is a point that just makes me so. They didn't understand Star Wars. People are so invested in Star Wars, dude. How could they not have a plan? How could they not have a plan? How could they go into that being like, well, I've watched Star Wars with my mother since I was like 6 years old, and I went to see that movie like, oh my god, this is the last Star Wars movie? Are you kidding?
Oh, it's not.
I have to sit here. I mean, hopefully, but like, I have to sit here with my mom and be like, all right. And it was fine. I mean,
they should
like
really
I said,
just give all Star Wars properties to Dave Filoni and just have him do it all. I'd love to see a full movie that Dave Filoni does.
They should have at least asked for his input a little bit, because that would have helped. Because it's just like such a long saga that they messed up a lot of stuff, man.
Yeah.
They messed up a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I do like it so it sort of functions as like a theme park ride. You go there and you're like, all right, I'm in on this thing. We're getting through it, and like when I first saw it, I went with my family and we had a good time, and then I left the theater and I was like, wait though, what about all of those things that didn't make any sense?
Yeah.
I watched it just the other day with my 9-year-old son, and I didn't tell him that I disliked aspects of that movie, but we sat there, and at the end of it, he was like, wait, why was Palpatine there? And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. Unnatural.
Yeah. It's all over the place.
Well,
it's such a mess.
Ian McDiarmid, though.
Oh, yeah. And that's the thing, is when you're watching it, I was totally invested in Ian McDiarmid. They set that first scene up like it's a horror movie. He walks down that hallway. It's terrifying. It's good.
The jar of Snokes.
Yeah, the jar of Snokes.
My
it's scary.
Jar of Snokes.
It's scary.
So what was your plan, Palpatine? Well, if my plan... Listen, I was in control of a galaxy that I already controlled, right? Yeah. So, but just in case, like... The chosen one actually did kill me, I made several thousand clones of myself to cheer me on while I slowly take over the galaxy again. What? Yes, I'm building a bunch of giant death-destroying starships out on this planet nobody goes to, and then it's gonna be so cool when they rise up and they shoot. Yeah. And then I'm going... Did you know I fuck? Because my kid had a kid, and I'm going to use that kid to get a new sexy body, so I don't have to be in this anymore. What? Yes, and these are my clones. Why do they look fucked up? Pressed up against the jar too much. But it's fine.
Do you think that Darth Vader saw the Snoke jar? Do you think
No.
He like brought him around Exegol, and he's like, what are those doing over there? He's like, don't look over there. Don't look behind the curtain.
Instead, Palpatine's like, I'm going to give you a planet to live on, and you're going to have your own castle there. I'm like, oh, thank you, master, my friend. Yes, it's going to be on that planet where you lost all of your limbs, and it's going to be a planet that is always filled with civil war trying to take you over. And you are going to... The main motif is going to be the lava that burned you and sent you alive. This is where you're going to live.
I really hope that the Obi-Wan show touches on the fact that castle is like a prison to Darth Vader.
Yeah.
because it really is. It's such an abusive relationship that he has with Palpatine.
Try not to choke on your ambition.
And I would just love to see them address that in the show. Anyway,
Rise
of Skywalker.
Thing is designed to make Rise of Skywalker was a terrible movie. It had no I don't understand why Rey had to say I'm Rey Skywalker to a random person.
Because J.J. Abrams does not understand.
It's just forcing it's forcing legacy to be the utmost thing we care about, and I don't like that.
It's hard to it's easy to just blame J.J. Abrams, but maybe that entire crew, somebody on that crew, does not understand what makes good character beyond, because I think J.J. Abrams is good at setting up characters, but seeing them through he's not good at. It isn't significant to just say that name. You need to show us something. Some development, some place that she gets to. It doesn't matter the specifics. It doesn't matter if they have more guns. Mm-hmm. It matters if the characters have learned and grown and achieved goals or failed at goals.
I just hate that it became. They forced in the prior. This is just them once again, just retconning the prior movie, is where it's like, hey, you should be yourself while also honoring the past. That's important. And in this one, it's like, no. Legacy is the most important thing in the world. You're a Palpatine.
Because they panicked.
But don't worry, we're gonna switch it so now you're all the Jedi before you, and now you're a Skywalker, and we're gonna call it the Skywalker Saga. And I hate it.
They wanted to make it the Skywalker Saga. They should have made it more about Leia. And that's another thing. I could go on forever. Imagine that movie if Carrie Fisher had just survived another year. It's the most depressing thing I've ever seen in my life to watch her lifeless fucking CGI face stalk around the background of that movie when she should have been the focus of that movie. It's so sad. I hate it.
They did it for reasons, too. You could tell, that's the one thing they decided to do. Han's the focus in the first one. Luke's the focus.
I know, and that was going to be her movie. It was
gonna make it Leia. It's so sad. It's sad.
Oh, it's so sad. Depressing. And they could have even, because she passed away before The Last Jedi. Well, I guess it was the weekend that it was released. If they had changed The Last Jedi where she fell out of the ship and that's how she died, and they had to address that in Rise of Skywalker, I feel like maybe they could have done something with that, and then maybe brought Han back in, or Luke. That's the other thing. Luke comes back as a ghost for one tiny scene. They needed to address more of Luke's character in that movie if they didn't have Leia around. Mm-hmm. It just makes me so sad.
And here's the thing about it, right? They kept their 2-year release schedule, but I feel like if they had planned the movie out, they would have had more time to film with her.
Yeah.
But they didn't, because they had this weird, we're just going to do it on the fly shit.
Because they had to write the whole movie.
Yeah.
They had to plan the entire thing. Build all the sets.
Yeah.
They didn't plan it, Joe. They didn't plan it.
They didn't plan it, Eric. It's sad. It's bad. It's not good. That's why it's terrible. So the new trilogy overall, though. Overall rating.
Well, now I'm real sad. So I'm going to give it a 0. I think it's a 3.
It's a 3
overall. It's solid.
For me too.
I enjoy it every time I watch it. I get a little sad at the end.
Lightsaber mat fights in the first 2. They're so good.
What even were there I can't remember. I just watched that movie. What lightsaber fights happen in?
She fights.
In the rain.
Kylo. Yeah, that was cool. And then
he fights the Knights of Ren.
Yeah. And that's it. What the fuck? That's it? That's the same feeling I got with actually Return of the Jedi too. Where's my major lightsaber fight? There's kind of one.
That one's basically like Kill Bill Volume 2.
Yeah, that's a philosophical fight. Which is fine, but...
Yeah. And that's a good movie, so it's fine.
Well, we've did the dang thing. We've rated all trilogies and movies of Star Wars, except for okay, we're not going to explain it. I'm just going to shout out the name and you're going to give it a rank. Okay? Solo.
Oh god. 2.
2 for me as well. Rogue One.
That one's bordering on a 5 for me.
Yeah,
but
same for me.
I give a high 4.
Give it a 4. High 4. Yeah, cool.
I freaking love that movie.
It's a great movie. I'm one with the Force is with me. I'm one with the Force is with me.
Yeah, I know!
You got a Donnie kid! That's all I need.
Yeah.
Sorry, and that's all I need. That's how we'll end it. With me being excited about, us being excited about Donnie Yen.
That lifted my spirits.
Fuck yeah, Donnie
I'm
Yen.
less depressed now. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We'll see you
everybody.
when it's not Thanksgiving. Goodbye.
Bye.